In a world increasingly shaped by our changing climate, scientists are sounding a new and urgent alarm. A landmark report, released just weeks before world leaders gather for the COP30 climate summit in Belém, Brazil, declares that we are no longer on the edge of a cliff, but have in fact fallen off it. For the first time, a critical part of our planet's life support system has passed a point of no return. This is the story of a new reality and the dominoes that are lining up to fall. According to a report from over 160 scientists, the planet has officially crossed its first catastrophic climate tipping point. The first system to fall is the world's warm water coral reefs, which are now experiencing widespread dieback. Professor Tim Lenton from the University of Exeter, who led the report, states, "We can no longer talk about tipping points as a future risk. The first tipping of widespread dieback of warm water coral reefs is already underway." So what exactly is a climate tipping point? Think of it like a domino effect. It's critical threshold where a small change triggers a large and often irreversible consequence. Once that first domino falls, it sets off a chain reaction that becomes self-propelling and incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to stop, even if the original trigger is removed. The first domino to have toppled is our planet's coral reefs. Scientists determined the tipping point for these vibrant underwater cities is reached when global temperatures hit about 1.2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The latest data shows the average global temperature over the last 12 months was 1.51 degrees Celsius above that pre-industrial baseline. We are already living in a world that is too hot for many of our reefs to survive. The evidence is stark and undeniable. The world is currently in the grip of the fourth and worst global coral bleaching event on record. Since the start of 2023, unprecedented marine heat waves have stressed a staggering 84.4% of the world's coral reef areas. When corals are exposed to heat stress, they expel the colorful algae living in their tissues, turning them a ghostly white. This isn't just a loss of color, it's the corals starving. The impact of this collapse is profound. Coral reefs support about a quarter of all marine species. They are a vital source of food, income, and coastal protection for nearly 1 billion people worldwide. Their loss is an economic and humanitarian crisis, not just an environmental one. Scientists say the only hope for recovery would be to reverse global warming back to 1 degree, a monumental task. For now, the focus is on protecting the small pockets or refuges that might survive. With the coral reef domino now falling, the report warns that several other major systems are teetering on the brink as we approach 1.5 degrees of sustained warming. One of the most critical is the Amazon rainforest. The threshold for its collapse is now believed to be as low as 1.5 degrees of warming, especially when factoring in ongoing deforestation. This is deeply concerning as the upcoming COP30 climate summit is being held in Belém, Brazil, a city within the Amazon itself. The potential for this vast, carbon-absorbing forest to turn into a dry savanna is a threat to the entire planet. Next are the colossal ice sheets of Greenland and West Antarctica. Their melting is accelerating. The Greenland ice sheet alone is already losing fresh water at a rate equivalent to 3 Niagara Falls every single hour. Their complete collapse would trigger a devastating multi-meter rise in sea levels. Finally, scientists are watching the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, or AMOC. This is a vital system of ocean currents that acts like a planetary thermostat, regulating weather and ensuring mild winters in northern Europe. Its collapse, which could be triggered below 2 degrees of warming, would have chaotic consequences for global food security and weather patterns. This dire warming comes as leaders prepare for the 30th Conference of the Parties, or COP30, a major UN climate conference in Brazil this November. The report's authors are urging these leaders to take immediate, unprecedented action, hoping their findings will serve as a wake-up call to push tipping points to the top of the global agenda. But amidst this grim forecast, the report also highlights a glimmer of hope. It points to the existence of positive tipping points. These are rapid, self-propelling societal shifts that can accelerate climate action. We are already seeing them happen. The adoption of electric vehicles is one example. Another is the incredible growth of renewable energy. In a historic first, new data from 2025 shows that renewables generated more of the world's electricity than coal in the first half of the year. Driven by a record 31% jump in solar power, clean energy is now growing fast enough to meet the world's rising electricity demand. This shows that a different future is possible. The science is clear. The first tipping point has been crossed, and others are dangerously close. The window to act is closing. But as Professor Linton reminds us, we still have some agency. Triggering these positive shifts in our societies is our best hope of pulling back from the brink and avoiding the most catastrophic outcomes for humanity.